Hello and welcome back to another episode, the last episode of the Brewers March to October. This one's just kind of a little wrap up. I thought it would be cool to go ahead and extend this into a franchise and just kind of show some things that we weren't able to see on the March to October screen throughout the season. So obviously in the last episode we won the World Series. We actually completed the March to October. But anyway, we're just going to look at some things wrapping up here. And first thing I want to look at is the just the postseason schedule here, just because of how good we actually did. Our offense didn't really click too much throughout. I mean, you could see a lot of low-scoring games, but also a lot of zeros. Look at this. There's 1 shutout, 2 shutouts, 3 shutouts, 4, 5, 6. We had 3 shutouts in the World Series. We had 2 shutouts in the championship series and 1 in the division series. That's a total of 6 shutouts. We had 2 games where we only gave up 1 run, and a game where we gave up 2, and then a couple where we gave up a little bit more, 4 and 5. But our total ERA, I went and calculated this, our total ERA for the team in the postseason here was 1.18. That has to be some sort of record. I doubt any team has had a 1.18 ERA throughout an entire postseason. But this was just a historic performance by our pitching. Our pitching really was what got us through the postseason here. Because if it wasn't for our pitching keeping us ahead in these low-scoring games, we honestly wouldn't have made it past the championship series and potentially would have even lost this series. And then I know throughout the season we couldn't see all of our all-stars. I feel like this was a while ago, so I can't really remember 100%, but I feel like we knew who all of our position player all-stars were, but we weren't able to see who our pitchers were on the roster. Okay, the all-star voting disappears when I clicked on it, so maybe I can go back on the schedule and find the game. Well, it doesn't let me click on the All-Star game here and check the box score. I wonder why. Well, anyway, we'll scrap that idea of finding out the All-Stars because it seems like there's no way to find them. Alright, really the only thing left to look at here then, I guess, since we can't find out who the All-Stars were, is the awards section. This is something we couldn't see from the March to October screen. I hope we can see it in the future, but we couldn't check any sort of, I mean, we already know we couldn't check any all-star races or anything, but we also couldn't check any award races, any postseason award races. So we're going to go ahead and click on awards here and find out. Actually, we're going to go to Player of the Month first to see if we had any of those. Well, I mean, this is September, but we'll start in April. Go to the National League, obviously. No one in April. No one in May. We had Ryan Braun was the June Player of the Month for the National League, with a 434 average, 7 homers, 26 RBI. That's crazy. He was also the Player of the Month in July with a 444 average. He had an even better average, 9 home runs. And then Freddie Peralta was the Pitcher of the Month in July with a 1.16 ERA and 51 strikeouts in 5 games. That's pretty solid. And then August, we had Pitcher and Player of the Month again, Zach Davies, 5-0, 1.71 ERA. and 45 strikeouts. And then Christian Yelich was the August Player of the Month with a 398 average, 10 bombs, 28 RBI, and we didn't have anyone in September. All right, now we'll look at the season awards and our World Series MVP. All right, I will say I did look at these before I recorded this, so it's not a surprise to me, but Hernan Perez was the World Series MVP. I wouldn't have really thought that. We had, who was it? It was Zach Davies throw a complete game shutout in Game 3. I felt like he could have gotten it. Hader might have had a claim to get it. I can't remember who else, but Hernan Perez, he played in 2 of the 4 games, so he only played half of the games. But he went 6 for 8 with, I think it was 3 doubles. So he could have a claim to it. I mean, that's a good at 8 at bats, but there's just other people who played more and I feel like did more significant things. I personally would have given it to Zach Davies, I think, just because that complete game shutout. You don't see that too often in the playoffs, let alone the World Series. And then the postseason MVP as a whole is Christian Yelich. I kind of saw this coming. I figured they wouldn't give it to pitchers. I just feel like these type of awards in MLB The Show are always geared towards hitters. I mean, Yelich obviously had a good postseason there. It's showing a .359 average with 2 homers, 7 RBI. But like I said, I think it should have gone to one of 2 options pitching. We had Brandon Woodruff, who didn't give up a single run in 3 starts throughout the postseason. I think it was 21.1 innings pitched without giving up a run. And then we had Josh Hader tying the saves record for a single postseason. He had 7 saves. I think at the end of it, he had 8 innings pitched, also without giving up a run. And I think only giving up 1 hit, but I could be wrong about that. But yeah, I think this award, this postseason MVP award, should have gone to either of those 2 guys, Woodruff or Hader. But Yelich, he's fine to get it. He still had a really good postseason. All right, now we'll move on to the season MVP. And if you remember, if you watched that long stat recap video that I did at the end of the regular season, I had a couple of guys who I thought were in the race for MVP. There was 2 guys on our team, Yelich and Braun. There was Ronald Acuna Jr. and it was Nolan Arenado. And then when I was looking at Ronald Acuna Jr., I was looking at his season stats. I was like, oh, check out Freddie Freeman. And Freddie Freeman had a crazy had a crazy season too that I never noticed. So I feel like all 5 of those guys are in the running for who the MVP is going to be. I already know who it is, so let's just get over to it. And it was Freddie Freeman. I wish we could see the whole race. I wish we could see runner-up and third place, because I wonder if one of my guys got on there. I feel like it would have been cool to see Braun up there at his age. But yeah, Freddie Freeman winning the National League MVP award, 41 bombs, 349 average, good year. Then over to the American League, it was Chris Sale. I also think it was JD Martinez who went crazy. I think he had like 50-something homers, like 170 RBI. It was crazy. But Chris Sale, obviously, that's a good season too. 25-3 record. I do feel like that is a thing on MLB The Show. More so with Cy Young. You don't really see too many pitchers end up with MVP. But for the Cy Young Award, this game puts a lot of importance on the win-loss record, which I don't think it should put that much importance on, but it does. And then back over to the National League for the Cy Young Award, and it was Jacob deGrom 2 years in a row, just like he did in real. He did win the Cy Young in real life, right? I think he did. Then the AL obviously would be Chris Sale, and we had Freddie Freeman win the batting title, and Castellanos win the batting title in the American League. I thought for sure that was going to go to JD. I thought he had a higher average, but we'll probably see JD at some point. Brandon Morrow, reliever of the year. I would have liked to see Hader, but I do remember throughout the regular season, Hader was not quite Josh Hader-like, and he didn't put up the numbers that it seems Brandon Morrow did. Chad Green for the Yankees. Of all the relievers the Yankees have, they turned to Chad Green in the 9th. He had 54 saves. That's crazy. I would not have expected Chad Green to be the one to be racking up the saves for the Yankees. Then we had Rookie of the Year go to Pete Alonso. That's pretty fair, but it's kind of surprising too, because these rosters were before Pete Alonso was really like the Pete Alonso we know, and you can see his attributes here. He doesn't have the power that you'd think he would, but he still won Rookie of the Year. Didn't quite put up the numbers he did in real life. And then Eloy Jimenez in the American League winning Rookie of the Year. It's not a great season. There must not have been too many candidates for Rookie of the Year, but hey, the Sox got something. Hank Aaron Award, again, Freddie Freeman, and there's JD Martinez. Let's give a little look at him. I know I already looked at him in the stat recap video, but it deserves another look. 58 home runs, 161 RBI, 212 hits, 37 doubles. This dude went off. It would have been nice if we could have traded for him like I thought we might have had a chance to, but it just didn't pan out. And then we'll just cycle through these Gold Gloves pretty quick here. I don't really care too much about Gold Glove unless any of our guys won something. I guess I don't really. I'll transition between the leagues just in case anyone cares. But hey, we got Mike Moustakas winning the third base Gold Glove, which is kind of interesting because I think he played most of his innings at second base. So that's pretty interesting that he won the third base Gold Glove. And Moncada, Sox got another thing. Simmons didn't make an error throughout the season. That's crazy. Did we get anybody else? Alex Gordon still winning it. Kevin Kiermaier, no errors on the year. We got Lorenzo Cain winning for center field. All right. He did something this year. Actually, he did turn it around at the plate. But yeah, he did pretty good out there in center, it looks like. Enough to win a Gold Glove. And we didn't get any other Gold Gloves. So Moustakas and Cain are only Gold Glove winners. Oh, and then we got Silver Slugger here, too. I forgot about that. Anybody? Jose Abreu for the Sox. Oh, he put up a good year. Glaber with 42 bombs. Scooter Gennett, that's a season right there. Nolan Arenado, of course. Jose Ramirez went off. Mondesi with 30 home runs. That's interesting. Mondesi having a better season than Baez, probably. Bryce Harper with almost 50 bombs. Wow, 49 home runs, only 265 average. Mike Trout, of course. What else we got? Castellanos. Christian Yelich did win it. Okay, I didn't know if I'd see him, but he did. I want to see Braun, but we don't get to see Ryan Braun winning anything this year. He had what a season from the old guy, Ryan Braun, but he doesn't have any hardware to show for it besides the World Series trophy. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And that is all I have for this episode. Just a little recap. It probably went a little longer than I thought it would be. I thought it would only be like 5 minutes, but it's probably going to be around 10 minutes. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. Make sure you hit the like button if you liked it. Our March to October is over. It took a lot longer than expected, but this is officially the finale. You won't see any more Brewers March to October on this channel until maybe next season. But until then, that's all I've got, and I will see you in the next one.